Hello and welcome, my Capricorn collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Welcome to your work, career, and vocation read for January and February 2021. I am your reader, Markangela Lyons, Mal for short, professional witch, professional intuitive, president of Drawing the Circle Productions, fellow Earth sign that I am, the Archangel of Lyons, Markangela Lyons, but you can call me Mal. Hi, hey, my Cappies. I love you guys so much, my Saturnian ones. God, Goddess, bless you. It is my honor to serve you today in this work, career, and vocation read, because us Earth signs can be very work, career, and vocation oriented. So welcome aboard. What we are doing here is looking at your spiritual path, your life purpose through the lens of 3 levels of power. There is a link to a video by Myss. This is her archetype card deck. Brilliant author, medical, intuitive, spiritual teacher. She is one of my favorites. I think she's probably the best spiritual teacher that I've come across for me. So go check that out if you'd like to find out more about looking at different things in your life in 3 levels of power. Work, career, and vocation is just one of those ways. There are chakra correspondences. I'll explain all that as I go along. But this is only 9 cards in a reading. We're taking 3 Myss archetype decks to look at what are the soul powers being developed or alchemized from lead to gold, work, career, vocation in 3 levels. Then we're going to take 3 Daughters of the Moon Tarot to get what your experience of those 3 levels are, sort of like your own personal experience. And then we'll use the Mythic Tarot to see what's going on the outside of it. So it's sort of like the soul power, the inside and the outside. I think you get it. All the decks that I read are in the description box below. I'm sure my guides will work through me to explain these 3 as we go along. Otherwise, the introduction is way too long. And I'm kind of over it, aren't you? But, you know, it's part of YouTube. You just have to explain what you're doing. This is a general read. Please take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Check your other signs because your different planetary aspects might get different information. So I guess that's about it. All I can ask is that you put your feet on the floor if possible and focus on your breath as we go, keeping you in the present moment so you can really sense how this fits together for you. Cool. Please take a nice deep breath. And anything else I have forgotten to say, I'm sure will be said through me. Here we go. Oh, my lovely collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, ascended masters, and the higher selves of all involved. Please, I need 3 cards for the Capricorn collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign watching this video in their work, career, and vocation for January and February 2021. Please, first one down for their work. What is the soul power being developed, the archetype at play in their work? Lower 3 chakras, root, sacrum, solar plexus, your work in the world, your physical power, your survival intuition, how you pay the bills, possibly. My work is as a corporate president of Drawing the Circle Productions. I don't make a dime doing that. I get paid through my career, right? So take this as it resonates, right? Please, my pantheons. 1 card for their career for the Capricorn collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Heart, throat, third eye, and crown, their emotional thirst, mental hunger, their passion, that things that lights them up. And for their vocation, their spiritual calling, 8th chakra, their spiritual power. So we've got physical power, mental, emotional / psychological power, and spiritual power. Please, what's the dominant archetype in play there for my Capricorn collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus? I'm watching this video. All right, these cards can be a little triggery if you're not new to my channel. I say that every time because it is a trigger warning. The shadow attribute that's written on the card is the stuff you don't want to look at within yourself, maybe within another as well. Or if you do look at it and do know about it, you don't want anybody to know. You want to keep it in the shadow. The light is what you are developing, healing, alchemizing as you go along. All right. Wow. Oh, okay. No tea, no shade, no pink lemonade. This is intense. For your work career, you've got the God archetype, which is masculine family, not the divine family, the masculine family archetype, one of. The shapeshifter in your career, which I am fluent in shapeshifter, in your career, that is a wild card family archetype. And you've got the prostitute archetype, which I just had a long conversation with somebody today about the prostitute archetype, it's one of the survival family archetypes. So everybody has the child, the victim, the saboteur, and the prostitute. It's how we learn how to survive in this world. So because it's a survival archetype, and your first level of power is about physical survival, there should be some connective tissue between all of them. But that's why I give the chakric correspondences. So it's about getting them in alignment. So the high inspiration can come down through the chakras, incarnating through you and manifest in the physical world, right? So let's read these. The shadow attribute of the god: despotism and cruelty, using power to control people. Like if you had the power of a god, what would you do with it? Right? It's a good question, because you do have the power of a god here. The light attribute: benevolence and compassion, recognizing the eternal force within yourself and others. So yeah, in the light here, this is incredibly high vibrational, really does refer to the 8th chakra, the vocation with the prostitute there. So ordinarily, I would suspect these cards to be reversed, right? The prostitute being more about physical survival, the god more about the mystical spiritual, but that's how it hit the table. So let's keep going. In your career, you've got the shapeshifter. I've got a nice touch of the shapeshifter in me. It's not dominant, but it's in there. The shadow attribute: projecting any image that serves your personal agenda in the moment, which we see with politicians, which we see with tricksters and con men and stuff like that. Lies, illusions, deceptions, and delusions, just projecting an image. Like you're a conservative in one room, you cross the hall and you're a liberal in the next, right? But the light attribute is genius. Skill at navigating through different levels of consciousness, ability to see the potential in everything. And in your career, that's important, particularly if you were an artist. There are also 3 levels of intuition. Like I said, there are lots of things in the 3 levels of power: survival intuition, creative intuition, visionary intuition. Your creative intuition with an ability to see the potential in everything while navigating through different levels of consciousness. Look, as a card reader, I have to do that. I've been reading cards since I'm 12. I'm going to be 52. I am 52, but this year will be 40 years in tarot. So learning how to take the spiritual information and give it to someone in a way that is not overly pedantic. Like that phrase, overly pedantic. People be like, what? What's that mean, right? So it's learning how to navigate those levels of what people are conscious of, as well as levels of consciousness. You could say between your physical consciousness, your mental, emotional consciousness, and your spiritual consciousness. We're all multidimensional beings regardless, right? So in your career, that's a big power here. They keep highlighting the seeing the potential in anything, right? Because there's great potential here in your career that you may or may not be aware of. And like I said, the prostitute archetype, everybody has it. So it's not about being a hooker. I promise you, it's not about being a hooker. Oh, maybe 2% of the archetype is that. But catch this: the shadow attribute places material considerations and security above self-empowerment. So instead of empowering yourself, you sabotage or disempower yourself because of money or comfort. The prostitute archetype is the guardian of faith and comfort, right? Do you have faith in yourself? And that's why having it in the vocation level is accurate, right? Even though I would ordinarily see the god and the prostitute flipped, this is playing out in a way, and this could very much be about you anchoring divine energy, God energy, masculine divine energy in all the way through, right? From the 8th chakra all the way down into the root, with the shapeshifter having to navigate that. I mean, look, in my personal life, I'm so empathic. I get information all the time. My guides never stop working with me, even when I sleep. And somebody's telling me something and I'm like, and seeing all of the potential for healing there that I may or may not be able to communicate with them, right? So let's start clarifying. We're going to take Daughters of the Moon Tarot and see what your personal experience is with these 3. Please take a nice deep breath. Certainly these archetype cards can represent other people, but if that is true, then there has to be a similarity of archetype in there somewhere. So let's see what the goddesses have to say. Please take a nice deep breath. Here we go. My goddesses of earth, the divine yin, for this Capricorn collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, my goddesses of earth in the sign of Capricorn, please clarify these. What's going on? What is their personal experience with that god archetype in their work, their survival intuition, how they pay the bills or not, right? Again, you could do these, and it's not about money, but how you are surviving there. Please clarify the shapeshifter in their career. And while we are here, please clarify that prostitute archetype in their vocation, which feels very high, right? Accentuates the challenge of surviving without negotiating the power of your spirit, if I didn't read the light attribute there. And that is incredibly powerful. I have had I can talk about this. Earlier today, someone commented on something on my community page on YouTube. One of the potential book covers for my new book that's coming out in a few weeks called Words of Grace from a Professional Witch. And he said from a market, he, she, them, whatever, said in terms of marketing, putting the word witch in there isn't great because people won't read it who don't believe in witches. And I was like, I don't care. It's like, this is who I am. I have to be authentic. I just have to be. Doing the work that I do, I can't afford to shape shift that particular. Oh, no, I'm only a witch in private. No. I'm a professional witch. And that's an honor and integrity thing, right? So accentuates the challenge of surviving without negotiating the power of your spirit. Not to mention my witchy ancestors would come for me if I did that. Yeah. So let's see, what is your experience of these? Okay, well, here we go. You've got the card of oppression, one of the two devil cards in this deck with the God archetype. So definitely you are feeling a bit trapped. If you look at the card, there's a woman buried under rocks right here. I'm glad she's wearing flats under all those rocks. There's her head, and she's covered in stones, but the stones are faces of people. Could be about tribal dictator, what people will think, or the fear of humiliation, which is the first controlling fear, according to Carolyn Myss. And there's a coyote in there. You see that like almost at the center. And there is a way out of this burning building. But first, they have to kind of pull the psychic weight of others off of them. Interesting. The shapeshifter, you've got the Leo card, which absolutely speaks about creativity, right? This is creative intuition. But fixed fire, fifth house, creativity and good fortune. Yes, you could be a Leo. There might be a Leo involved in this in your internal experience of this, or maybe you are dealing with a Leo, but I would think that would be in the mythic tarot, something outside of yourself, where this is Chantico taking loaves, well, actually taking, I guess you'd say dough, and baking them in an oven, fixed fire. So really, oh God, this is coming in so clear, my caps, that potential to, the ability to see potential in everything in terms of your own creative potential. It's almost like you need to shift levels of consciousness, maybe go up a little bit and look down and say, oh my goodness gracious, I do have a lot of creativity. I can make this happen. I just need to navigate this with that fixed fire. Like even, well, it would make sense if you are oppressed. There's something about creativity there, how you express yourself, that will help you see this differently. I do it all the time. I mean, I do it, I'm very verbal. I'm a writer, but really I'm a speaker and a teacher first, and a reader, obviously. So sometimes when I get frustrated, I will speak it out. It's like Gestalt therapy or inner child work, something like that. But certainly more creative, like, you know, pound the clay, so to speak, right? You know, write it out, scream it out, dance it out. But there's something in there for you psychologically, mental, emotional, that really allows you to take the inspiration that's coming in, because wait till you see what comes next, and really channel it through you in a way, regardless of, oh, I get it, regardless of how in chains or stoned, I mean like under rock stone, the old-fashioned stone, which will make sense when we do this. You ready? Oh boy, here we go. We got the prostitute archetype with the witch. The major arcana card of the magician in this deck, called the witch, which is all about that, taking that 8th chakra, mystical power, through the crown, inspiration, information, choice, decision, emotional power, self-esteem, personal power. 2nd chakra root hits the ground. So it's about really bringing yourself into alignment with what? The power of your spirit, that really you don't have to negotiate it. That's part of what's on the table here. you got two major arcana cards, right? You've got the devil and you've got the witch, which, you know, I don't put those two together. You know, the reason why in a feminist deck they don't use the devil because that's patriarchal language. But we all feel oppressed from time to time. Please take a nice deep breath. Let's see what this looks like on the outside, which can also mean how you appear from the outside looking in. Sometimes it's both. Please, my gods of Capricorn and the sign, my gods of Earth and the sign of Capricorn. Please, 3 cards in clarity for the Capricorn collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign in their work, career, and vocation. Please clarify oppression there with the God archetype in their work. Like if you feel oppressed by a boss or somebody that is a despot and cruel and manipulative, that could be that. Like I mean, sometimes these archetypes are not you, but could be an energy, a situation, or another person that you're dealing with. The shapeshifter in their career, please, with the Leo card, the Mother of Flames, which would be the Queen of Wands. And in their vocation, the prostitute archetype with the witch, the magician, please, manifesting, having all the tools they need and all that in their vocation. Let's have a look-see, and you got another major arcana card. All right. The God card with oppression with the moon in the exterior, which means you don't know. You're just going to have to trust your intuition on this, at least in terms of navigating your way through it. If you are indeed dealing with somebody who is a despot, look it up, D-E-S-P-O-T, essentially means tyrant, and cruelty, using power to control people, really the light attribute, benevolence and compassion, recognizing the internal force within yourself. You might both have this, but it's really about saying, like, externally, things are clouded. I love this word, occluded, which means cloudy, essentially. It's where the word occult stems from, the root of occluded. The root is occult, which doesn't mean, you know, what people think it means. It means that it's hidden, that it's secret. So there might even be, to an extent, some lies, illusions, deceptions, and delusions here. But my sense is that if you are really tuned to your intuition, and I would say lower 3 chakras, root, sacrum, so my sacrum chakra gives me, it grunts at me, right? If something doesn't feel good, somebody hits on me, and my second chakra wants to leave the room, I'm like, this is not that person. This is not going to happen, right? So you might have to navigate through that, though you are feeling oppressed. There is something hidden here. There is something hidden here. You might be hiding your true feelings here of how much you're actually suffering, but more likely than not, because this is Hecate, this card is literally the goddess Hecate, underworld goddess, certainly a lunar goddess, the card of the moon there, but I call her the queen of the crossroads, a big decision in place that you might not be able to take right now because of that oppression, but it's on the table, so to speak. With this shapeshifter, with the Leo card, as I said, that internal creativity and good fortune that might really help you express and heal, like expressing a wound, like popping a zit, right? What's going on here in the physical world. But in the outside part of it, and I'm really digging this, the Page of Wands, right? The Page of Wands. New new passion coming in, new inspiration, but it's a message or a messenger. And that could be you expressing your element of fire here, because you've got 2 fire cards on the inner, you've got the Leo card, Page of Wands on the outer. So this could very much be about putting your passion into action, but perhaps behind the scenes on your own time. If at work, it's a no-no. The prostitute archetype here with the witch, you've got 3 of Cups. Now, 3 of Cups just came up for someone. Where did that one come from? Hold on one second. I know somebody had it. I knew somebody had it. Oh yeah, the Sagittarius reading had it, but it was the Daughters of the Moon, not Mythic Tarot. So if you have any Sagittarius placements, you might want to check that, or if you're dealing with, because the 3 of Cups, yes, it can certainly mean so to me, it's more friendship. It doesn't feel like third-party situation, not in the 8th chakra. And it can mean partying and celebrating to an extent. And maybe that is true as well. If what you are not negotiating anymore, the power of your spirit to be more joyful, more happy, more celebratory. But I'm also feeling what I said in the Sagittarius read sort of applies here. You might have a strong empathic bond with this God archetype, whether that is you or somebody else. There is communication, like I said, connective tissue between the prostitute and the God archetype here, because really they would switch. If I were to lay out these cards according to their appropriate level of power, like physical power, mental, emotional power, and spiritual power, I would swap those two around. So chances are, though I wear a silly grin the moment you come into view, that Three of Cups is really about navigating your visionary intuition, the larger picture part of you, while feeling this emotional connection, right? Feeling this bond. And that bond can be between you and the divine. Because let's not forget, in the 8th chakra, the witch, the magician, whatever you want to call it, is really about taking, you see that light coming into the top of her head? It's called the cone of power, right? And she's channeling it down through her air, which is the wand. Well, technically there's the fire under there, which really that would be a blade, the water in the cauldron, and the pentacle around her neck. We are all a balance of fire, earth, air, water, and spirit, right? And that's really prevalent here. You have immense spiritual power at play here. If this is a boss or a toxic coworker, more than a coworker, I wouldn't let a coworker be dictatorial and cruel to me, right? There's the word tyrannical, a despotism, a despot. No, that wouldn't go well. I don't do very well with that. But a boss, prostitute archetype, it might be that this is done with. Whatever your work is or was, or maybe just your industry is on pause for a year. You know why? I'm not saying it, but you know why. Then there could be a lot of emotion around this, but that you have immense emotional power. Do not compromise the power of your spirit. I never tell people what to do, but this feels like your spiritual calling is leading the way here, right? Will you negotiate that away? Like, even if you look at the prostitute as a sex worker, there's a negotiation, right? This much money for this service. But that's, it's too easy in this world when we are afraid of what's going to happen next to stick to our truth. But that seems to be the challenge here. So let me put this together for you. Breathe. My pantheons of the divine, may the Capricorn collective sun, moon, rising, Venus signs who watch this video be blessed with all that they need in their work, career, and vocation, that in their 8th chakra, they may really connect with the divine and the survival power that's in their spiritual power to channel down their honor, their integrity, their clarity, with great emotional empathy, underline that word, sympathy, and happiness, right? Maybe not my cup runneth over the 10, but that 3 of Cups, that sense of bonding, that sense of union, that feels really lovely for them spiritually. So they can channel it down into their creativity as the shapeshifter, right? So that they can shift their shape in their career here as they need to, using their creativity and accepting, or at least witnessing or being aware of this Page of Wands, this message that comes in that could be very inspirational, and that could certainly come from the divine, could also, and they're saying both that, or either or both, that message, that Page of Wands that lights them up comes in. It might be an offer to do something more in your career, while here in their work with that God archetype, feeling it kind of in the shadow, somebody else that they are dealing with, but in themselves, that they come into contact with their benevolence and compassion within themselves, regardless of how oppressed they are, and not knowing what to do because there's stuff that's hidden here and a lot of emotions going on, so that they may heal, so that they may come into alignment without compromising themselves, using their creativity and possibly walking away from a toxic work situation that no longer serves them, because no one needs to be, right? Nobody needs to put up with anyone using their power to control them through cruelty. For their well-being, for the well-being of everyone around them, and for the well-being of all, may they be so blessed, so motivated. And so it is. There it is. My Cappies, if you like it, like it. You want more? subscribe. Please comment should you feel it. I read them all. I comment when I can, because this is my, what I'm doing right now is very much the combination, the alignment of my work, career, and vocation, right? The mystic coming down through the teacher, the reader, the artist, and manifesting as a card reader and a YouTuber, right? It's possible to do it. It all doesn't, you can do how many artists, right, are working something that they're not thrilled with, that they might feel is controlling with them or cruel, you know? It's a challenge for everybody in this changing world, but there is light at the end of this tunnel, and it's getting brighter and wider every day. Otherwise, I do go on. Wishing you the very best and the very blessed in your work, career, and vocation, my darlings. Hail. Farewell. And blessed, blessed be.